Hey, what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we're continuing my 2022 year-end top 10s as we are going to look at my number 2 light heavyweight in the world right now at 175 pounds. The reigning undefeated unified light heavyweight champion, Artur Beterbiev. Beterbiev holds 3 of the 4 titles at 175 right now, the WBC, the WBO, and the IBF. He is the unified champ. He entered the year with 2 of the belts. He had the IBF and the WBC titles, and his goal was to unify belts. He was coming off of 2021 where he returned from the COVID pandemic and dominated Adam Dines, and then followed that up with a dominant performance against Marcus Brown late in the year. So he waited around to set up a unification bout against the hard-hitting Joe Smith Jr. And in June, that fight would come to fruition to unify 3 of the 4 belts. And he went in there in a fight that he was the favorite, but a lot of people thought would be competitive. It really wasn't, as Beterbiev hurt Smith early and then finished him in the second round, dominating him and unifying 3 of the 4 belts. Now, I know a lot of people are going to call for Beterbiev to be ahead of Bivol, but I'm sorry, I don't see that. These 2 guys, for me, have flip-flopped the last couple of years based on who they have beaten and their resume. And last year, absolutely, I had Beterbiev ahead of Bivol heading into the year, so he drops 1 spot. But beating Joe Smith, even though he destroyed Joe Smith, and even though he holds 3 of the 4 world titles, I just feel Bivol beating not just Canelo, but beating the pound-for-pound king in Canelo. And he came in the underdog in that fight, and he dominated him, or convincingly beat him, and then to dominate the number 3 guy at the time in Gilberto Ramirez over 12 rounds. And again, Beterbiev knocked out the previous number 3 in Joe Smith, but I think Ramirez was more of a threat going into the Bivol fight than Joe Smith was going into the Beterbiev fight, if that makes sense. And the fact that he dominated an undefeated, fighter like that on the rise in Gilberto Ramirez did to Bivol has me just sneak him slightly ahead. It's the same as about Fury over Usyk right now for me. It's very tight, very close, and it's the same scenario. 3 belts for one guy, 1 belt for the other, but I don't calculate it like that. I go off of overall resume, and Bivol just slightly ahead of Beterbiev after the year that he had. But Beterbiev, again, nothing to hang his head about being number 2. I mean, this division is stacked at the top between him and Bivol. Beterbiev in 2023, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. First off, he's fighting Anthony Yarde on January 28th in the main event of an ESPN card. I think he's going to knock Yarde out, but Yarde is a solid boxer, has excellent power, and I think he's a live underdog. But I think Beterbiev's going to beat him. I think he'll knock him out. I think he'll beat him, and Beterbiev will retain his unified title. After that, it's up in the air. The WBC and all the belts are willing to allow Undisputed to happen if Bivol and Beterbiev decide to do it. But we know Bivol has a proposed rematch in the cards with Canelo Alvarez. And, it's really going to be up to what Bivol wants to do. It really, Bivol and Beterbiev on whether they can get the fight made, first off, because they have rival promotions. But I don't see that being an issue. I know Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and Top Rank and Bob Arum have not gotten along and do not get along, but a fight of this magnitude can be made. The question is does Eddie Hearn want to risk this undisputed fight to potentially miss out on the rematch with Canelo and that undisputed fight? Because Bivol's talking about fighting, Canelo at 168. So I'm making a prediction, and I could be wrong, but I believe that Bivol I believe Beterbiev is going to beat Yarde, and then I believe Bivol's going to fight Joshua Buatsi and set up for a Canelo rematch, and we're going to miss out on these guys going after Undisputed again. But, that's going to be an option in the beginning of the year. I think Beterbiev, though, while he waits for Undisputed, I think he'll get mandatories out of the way. If he beats Yard and he beats him convincingly, I can see him fighting Callum Smith, his WBC mandatory, like around the middle of the year. And then maybe towards the end of the year, because he really wants Undisputed, I think he might go after his IBF mandatory, whoever it is, and get that out of the way to set up for a potential clash with Bivol for the Undisputed title in early 2024, or you know, the first half of 2024. So we'll see what goes down. I'd hate to miss out on Undisputed, but I understand that Bivol has a very, very credible option. He can go down and make history at 168 and then come back up and try to go for Undisputed at 175. Why go for one Undisputed and not try for two? You know, try for two in back-to-back fights. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what goes down. But that's it. That's my number 2 light heavyweight in all the world right now, the undefeated Artur Beterbiev. Again, we'll go over his record really fast. 18-0, 18 knockouts, guys. This guy's legit. I think he's going to have a good year. I think Yard's going to go down. I think Callum Smith's going to go down. And Beterbiev might just fight 3 times this year. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. That's my number 2 light heavyweight in the world right now at 175. The undefeated, unified light heavyweight champion, Artur Beterbiev, as my 2022 year-end top 10s continue. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.